Hey everybody, I'm Fred Minnick, and this is that time of year where I start going down my annual awards. Now, for a long time, I was a critic for a magazine that would help, put these awards together, and I've always been a critic in competitions. But for the last few years, let's say 3 years, I've done my own, and this is my second year to do them on YouTube. Now, last year, I decided to do all of my nominations in one tasting, and I ended up tasting 40 products in one night to select my winner. Well, even though I'm a grizzled veteran, even though I drink whiskey for a living, and even though I'm accustomed to tasting that many things and making a decision, tasting them and talking about them and making a decision before a live audience ain't the easiest thing in the world to do. Let's just say maybe I had a little too much. So, in order for me to prevent that this year, my final tasting, which, mark your calendars, is December 22nd at 9 p.m. December 22nd at 9 p.m. Go to my YouTube and click the videos and hit the set reminder so you do not miss it. On that day, I will have my best rye, which is Sazerac 18-year-old, my best barrel finish, which is 4-Gate Batch 6, and now my best non-Kentucky bourbon, as well as a couple others that are going to be announced later on in the month, are going to compete against the best bourbon. And the best bourbon, I will taste all those that are in the best bourbon category and taste them all right there. Now, if you want to see what is up in the running, what's up for the running, just click the description button and you'll see that expanded, and you'll see the list broken out by who has won what and what are the best of remaining in bourbon. So this brand, this is actually, to me, out of all the awards that I give, this is the most important award because Kentucky is known for having great distillers. They have all the talent here, as does Tennessee, as does MGP Ingredients in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, which is really, honestly, if we're going to be honest here, it's kind of a suburb of Kentucky. I'm just saying. But you have all the talent in the world here. So I think it is much more difficult to go out on your own as a distiller outside of Kentucky. And so when someone really hits the mark, when someone just drives it home and does a great job, I think when you can compete against the best, to me, that is all you need to know about the distiller. And the distiller I'm going to talk about today absolutely is among the very best out there in the entire country. And I think that person should be very proud. But last year, the winner was Woodinville. And Woodinville's out of Washington. Incredible distillery. They are continually to put out fantastic stocks. And I'm so excited to see where Woodinville is going, because every time I taste their stuff, they're just taking it to another level. Their port finish this year was fantastic. Now, it didn't make that list for my best of the barrel finishes for that taste off, but they were on par for what I would expect to see from a distillery at that caliber, and they are just pushing the envelope. And I guarantee you, one day, Woodinville is going to win a major tasting competition, and people are going to be like, oh, wow, Woodinville, here we go. But today, the winner for my best non-Kentucky bourbon is Spirits of French Lick. Spirits of French Lick has consistently done extremely well in my live stream tastings, as well as just something that I want to sip on outside of the office. Now, what Alan Bishop has done as a distiller at Spirits of French Lake, which is in French Lake, Indiana, to me, he has taken a completely different approach to making whiskey. Now, what he has done is he's basically taking the approach of let the grain speak. Let the grain speak. But don't let the grain be overpowering. So what he's doing is you're tasting the profile of the grain while at the same time seeing what the barrels have done. Now, I'm not going to lie. I have been on the fence. I've been on the fence about who to select for this. But it was when I was tasting with Scott Ian, the lead guitarist for Anthrax, and he picked this as his favorite bourbon that we were tasting in this tasting, and you'll see that podcast later on. But when he picked this, and I just saw his, like, and he's a bourbon nerd, and I just saw his face, and I was like, you know what? Spirits of French Lick is consistently putting out product that is making people like have that oh wow reaction. They did it to me with several blind tastings. I saw it with Scott Ian. I've seen it with my wife. They are producing whiskeys that matter, and they are producing whiskeys that I guarantee you, in 15 years, if they allow their whiskey to sit in the barrel for another 15 years, in 15 years, we may be looking at Spirits of French Lick as the best American whiskey distillery in the country. That's the trajectory they're on. And to be honest with you, now that they are going into the going on to compete for best American whiskey, because they will taste off against the other whiskeys that night, and that's December 22nd at 9 p.m. I do think that they have a chance to go all that way. Now, the Spirits of French Lick, this one, the unpretentious one, this was in the running also for best barrel finish. Now, it did not come out ahead, so the bourbon that I will be putting into the taste-off, and one that I really did enjoy immensely, was the 4-grain bourbon, the Indiana Straight Bourbon, Lee W. Sinclair. Lee W. Sinclair. So that is what's going to be going into the taste-off in the upcoming American Whiskey of the Year tasting. So congratulations to Spirits of French Lick. Alan Bishop, I think you're an amazing distiller. I think you have an incredible future ahead of you. And everybody, if you have not gotten a bottle, if you have not looked them up and given them a follow on social media, please do so. Spirits of French Lick is a whiskey distillery of the future, if not one of the best of the present. So thank you for joining me. Make sure you click that subscribe button, and be sure to tune in on December 22nd at 9 p.m. when I select my best bourbon and best American whiskey. Until next time, cheers. Oh, vodka sucks. Unless it's being used for hand set. You know what? No, it just sucks. I can't even muddle it out. So vodka sucks.